Hello, future people, and welcome to Great Uncle John's weekly video log. This is week 51. So this is the penultimate episode of Great Uncle John. It is December the 24th, Christmas Eve, and this is my very first broadcast from a vehicle. I think I did one Great Uncle John before from a vehicle, so this will be perhaps my second. Driving off for Christmas with the in-laws, which is our Christmas tradition. Drive up on the 24th, and we have Christmas Eve service at the Catholic Church, and then we have dinner. No, maybe we have dinner first and then go to church. And then on the 25th, we have the big Christmas dinner with the family, and it's wonderful. I really like this tradition. And we just had Christmas with my family a couple of days in a row, on Friday and Saturday night. Commitments being as they are, and taking people around to different places at Christmas time. You have to get together when you can. That's what we did. So anyway, I don't have this scripted, obviously, so if I ramble a little bit, please excuse me. I wanted to do this now because I didn't want to have to do a Great Uncle John when I got to the in-laws. A, because it's kind of weird. I don't even think they know I do this sort of thing. Vlogs. And B, because I just don't want to think about the Trump stuff on holidays, So since I have to be sitting here doing nothing anyway for the next hour and a half, I thought, hey, this might be a good opportunity. I hope this is still recording, by the way. I sometimes worry that I'm going to say something brilliant, and of course it'll run out of tape. Anyway, it's been an interesting week in Trump. Without Google here in front of me to bring it all back, I can just think of some of the highlights. Trump announced that he was withdrawing U.S. troops from Syria beginning immediately. I believe they have 2,000 troops in Syria fighting ISIS and like special ops kind of guys. And Trump did this just out of the blue. I guess he didn't consult with the allies or any of his advisors or his generals or anything, and it took everyone by surprise and was widely condemned. And the next day, I believe, General Mattis, his defense secretary, resigned because it was just such a step away from traditional American foreign policy, and it was also sort of a slap in the face to his advisors who he didn't advise, or he didn't ask for their advice. So that was kind of the big thing. I mean, legally, I can't remember any particular legal stuff happening. There's a company that's argued that they want. It's a bit of a mystery. There's this company that is being subpoenaed by a grand jury to give up information, but the identity of the company is a mystery, and it's been fought all the way to the Supreme Court now. So everyone's speculating it might have something to do with the Trump or the Mueller investigation. But that's about the only thing I can think of on that front. I think Flynn had already been done his day in court the last time I did an Uncle John. And of course his sentencing was put off for a few months until he sort of smartened up a little bit, and I think gave up some more information. And there's talk that they're getting very close to indicting Roger Stone and get the other dude's name, Horsey or something like that. They seem to be like WikiLeaks, back channel WikiLeaks guys. And Trump's just been going nuts. It's funny. The news reports are always like, "Oh, Trump was in a rage this week, and Trump's in a tailspin." And they've been saying that for 2 straight years. If the tailspin analogy is correct, you just don't tailspin indefinitely. Sometimes you have to hit the ground, and Trump hasn't hit the ground yet. He's alienating a lot of people in his own party, apparently, the GOP senators who have stood by him through thick and thin and the ugly, the bad and the ugly. Okay, I can't think of much good, although they just passed some sort of criminal justice reform that everyone seemed to like, but for the most part the ugly. And the senators have stuck with him, but this move away from traditional American foreign policy. What else did he do? He did something else that really messed with them. Maybe it was that. They were really upset by the Syria thing. So, the government shut down. That was it. So he was asking for money for his border wall, and he refused to sign some kind of compromise bill. So they shut down a chunk of the government. And of course, he's now famous. I'll take ownership of it, which I'm sure future people have seen in documentaries and so forth. So the government shut down. I think people forget about this stuff. You know, they're saying it's going to have a huge political impact, but honestly, I think by the time the 2020 election comes around, people aren't going to remember it. Let's fog it up here. Let's turn on some air. There we go. Let's see. In Canada, we have our election coming up next year in October. Justin seems to be unpopular. People, there's definitely a streak of, or a lot of Canadians who don't like Justin Trudeau. When you get a lot of your political input from Facebook or the internet in general, it's hard to know because, you know, Facebook amplifies views on both sides. And as we've seen, there's a lot of shady actors with fake accounts and so forth on Facebook and Twitter. And what they're saying isn't always necessarily an expression of what a genuine Canadian might feel. It might be more of a Kremlin talking point or something we're listening to. But at any rate, there's not a lot of love for Justin out there. You know what? I can pick apart, if I sat down and tried, I could pick apart a lot of things that Justin has done that I don't like. Trudeau government has done that I don't like over the past year or so. But overall, he gave us legalization. He's I think represented the country with dignity, which is important, you know, and we're in the shadow of the gleaming bright light of the United States and the clown that's in the middle of that three-ring circus. It's even if hasn't been the most effectual prime minister in some cases, at least he's not been an embarrassment. And you know, Doug Ford stuff, I haven't been following Ontario politics. It's a struggle. That's what they count on, is that we don't pay attention. So I have no idea what's going on in Ontario politics. Economically, they say we're sliding towards a new recession, and that 2019 will be a recession year. The stock market's crashing. Early in the Great Uncle John episodes, I spoke a bit about my pot stocks, and I stopped talking about them eventually because they just crashed out. They went down, 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 down. So, you know, I like going to Vegas. I didn't invest more than I could afford to lose, and I've lost about half of it. So I'm just holding now. Maybe, who knows? Maybe things will turn around next year. YouTube-wise, they just had a big purge. Did I talk about this? Did I complain about this last time? They just had a year-end purge of users, so now I'm below 1,000 users, which is the monetization threshold. I'm at 968 or 970, something like that. So I hope they'll cut me a little bit of slack. Otherwise, I see you can't do the fake. You can't go on to the sub for sub. That doesn't work, people. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not saying I ever did that, but it's smoke and mirrors, and the accounts aren't real, and they eventually either unsubscribe or just disappear. So my advice, YouTubers, is to keep it honest and only wish for and cultivate subscribers that are actual real human beings. And do your bit by following other YouTubers and subscribing to their channels. It is a community. You know, it's one of our main ways of expressing ourselves in a lot of cases. So it's good to keep the community healthy. Do I sound like a YouTube advertisement? I probably shouldn't. They've given me a lot of grief over 2018. A lot of grief, actually. Much more stress than is definitely needed for a part-time video hobby. Looking forward to 2019 YouTube-wise. I'll put Great Uncle John to bed next week, and then I'll have my 2018 wrap-up episode, which will, I don't know how long that will take me to do, so it might be well into 2019 before that gets shown. It'd be nice to have it done by New Year's Eve, though. That'd be kind of cool. But 2019, I've already mentioned I'm going to do my prepping vlog. I've discovered I do enjoy vlogging. I enjoy the creative discipline of doing something on a regular basis. I don't think I'll put myself through the task of doing it weekly. I'm proud of myself for, well, knock on wood, that's not done yet, but I'm proud of myself for getting through a full year of video logging, as I promised myself that I would do. It's a good discipline. You sort of stay focused on a task, and I don't know. It's been a good outlet for me, so I'm going to keep that going. I don't think I'll do a weekly. That's a bit onerous. It's a bit onerous. But I'll try to do regular episodes, regular content. I'll try to get some other content out. I'm letting my regular videos fall to the wayside a bit, and I have a couple they're in the can, as they say. I've filmed them, but I haven't edited them yet. One is making sponge toffee, which I just made. I just made a bunch of sponge toffee for Christmas, and it turned out really good. So I'm anxious to share my sponge toffee video, and I made my Mother's Cape Breton oat cakes for Christmas, and I'll share that. I'm also looking forward to my music interest in the coming year. I have two avenues there that I'm going to explore. I've got my Conroy Pitt stuff that I'll be working on, or helping Conroy work on. He's almost done. Conroy's almost done a new album. He's just has to finish up 2 or 3 songs that are already more or less recorded, and he'll have a new album out, which is his 4th album, as yet untitled, following up from, I think, 2016 I think was the last one, Off Leash from 2016. And I was just contacted by my buddy Eric, who I used to play in the band Sour Dream with, which was just a jam band, but still we played regularly for a couple of years, and that was a tremendous amount of fun. And if you search around on the internet or on my YouTube channel, you'll see some Sour Dream videos up there. And I also use Sour Dream's music as a background for a lot of my videos, including some Great Uncle John's. But anyway, Eric contacted me, and he's ready to get back into that game and start jamming again. So I'm quite looking forward to that. I want to get back doing that myself as well, and we'll see what comes of that in 2019. So looking forward to 2019, actually. I think it's going to be a fun, creative time. Anyways, we'll see you next week, future people, and I hope, I don't know when you're probably listening to this almost any time of the year, not necessarily Christmas time, but if you are listening to it at Christmas time, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. People are very Merry Christmassy this year. They're, I don't think it's a backlash thing to the war on Christmas, but it's Christmas time. Nobody minds the whole war on Christmas, and you have to say happy holidays. That's all made up stuff, future people, and you probably realize that, but it's not real. Nobody cares. Nobody is against saying Merry Christmas, and we've been saying Merry Christmas for a very long time, and it's I'm okay with happy holidays too, or happy Hanukkah or happy Kwanzaa or whatever people are celebrating, but there's nothing wrong with Merry Christmas. So Merry Christmas, future people, and we'll see you next week.